So shame is the emotional consequence of eating from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Why would eating from the tree of knowledge, why would that lead to shame? What's the knowledge there? Well, if I see that you will disobey God, you are not safe to me. If I see that you will disobey God, who gave us all of this and said, don't eat from that one thing, if you're willing to do that to Him, what will you do to me? And I did it to you as well. And so not only are you not safe to me, I'm not safe to you, or you may judge me so, and there we have shame. And so I must hide myself from you, specifically my sex organs, the most intimate, vulnerable parts of me. I've got to hide them from you and God, as we're going to see in the next few verses, to be safe. Now, I want to go down a little rabbit trail. Sanctified imagination. I don't know if this is true or not, but it's a fun little thought experiment. So Eve, the bride, is tempted directly by the serpent. She eats the fruit. Adam was with her and he eats it as well. He wasn't tricked. She didn't tell him it was from a different tree. None of that. He willingly, the bridegroom, willingly took on death to be with his bride. I don't know. What's his heart there? I'm not saying it wasn't sin. It was sin. The Bible's clear that it was sin. But I can think of another guy who willingly took on death to be with his bride. Something to think about. Okay. Now what? Let's talk about what shame is. I'm going to move probably outside the camera for a second, so I don't know if you want to adjust. But this is how I explain what shame is. I think this is how the Bible talks to us about shame, okay? So this triangle represents God, okay? God created the world, right? And then He created the man and the woman to rule over the world. So this is the hierarchy. God, then man and woman having dominion over the earth. Now, here's a line that divides the creator from creation. So God alone is on the creator side of the creator-creation divide. We are part of creation, yes? Yes. However, we alone bear the divine image and share that with God. Nothing else besides God is above this line here except humanity. So this is the unique space of humanity. We are less than God, but we are more than mere creation. Only humans hold this space. And shame, let me see if this clicker will work here. Yeah. Shame is what we feel when we cross these boundaries. Shame is what I feel when I say I can become like God. Or, that's pretty clear from Genesis 3. Or go to Romans 1, which gives sort of the macro view of the fall of humanity. And it says they exchanged the glory of God for created things and gave themselves over to their most base instincts. So when I act like a mere creature, like a mere animal, and give myself over to those desires, I have shame. Shame is what I feel when I get outside the space God has created for me as a human. Less than God, more than a mere creature. And healthy shame, because I do believe there is such thing as healthy shame. Love Brene, certified Daring Way facilitator. Disagree with her about the existence of healthy shame. Okay, I do believe there is a such thing as healthy shame. And healthy shame is what I feel when I cross these boundaries. And healthy shame, when I get back in my place, dissolves. Toxic shame, and that's a whole other talk, doesn't go away based on what I do because it wasn't there because of something I did. It was put on me. And so because it was put on me and it wasn't the result of my behavior, my performance isn't going to make it go away. That's another talk though. So that's what shame is. Okay? Shame is the fearful, painful feeling of being seen as worth less, being less than, with the anticipated result of being othered or placed outside of our important relationships. So it's saying shame is what we call a pro-social emotion. Guilt, if I do something wrong and nobody knows it, I feel guilt. When you find out I did something wrong, then I feel shame. Okay? Now, the person who knows I've done something wrong could be God. That's still a relationship. That's still social. But that's the actual difference between guilt and shame. Sorry, Brene. That's the actual difference between guilt and shame. It's not I did something bad, I am bad. I think that there's truth to that, but it's more complicated than that. Guilt is I've violated my values and I know it. Shame is I violated values and you know it. And so now what I do with shame is I'm taking my judgment of myself and what I know I've done and what I now know you know I've done, and I'm projecting my judgment of myself onto you so that I'm thinking about how you see me. And so where's the focus? On me. Which is why when you're trying to share your pain with your husband and he goes into shame, you feel left alone. But what's happening is he is feeling guilt and shame. He's taking his judgment of himself, projecting it on you, and he can't see past how he believes you must see him. That's what's happening. So we feel like we're placed outside, we feel like we're being othered, and that is intolerable for human beings, even those who are more avoidant. We all fundamentally know we need relationship. And so shame is that painful, fearful feeling that we're going to be outside. It's sin and shame. They drive us to hide ourselves, to isolate, to stay outside of relationship. I can't be seen. I can't be known. And this is the very opposite of how we are created to develop and survive and flourish and thrive.